Do you ever feel like everything is just spiraling out of your control and there's just nothing you can really do about it? Like things are slipping through your fingers. Like if you were building a sandcastle out of dry sand and you try your hardest to pile everything together and give it some shape, but it just keeps disintegrating in front of you. Sometimes life really feels that way, huh? Sometimes it feels like no matter what you try or no matter what you do, you just have no control over things, and that's how I've been feeling lately. It took me a lot of learning and reflecting, and I still have a long way to go, but I feel like the more I think about it, the more I realize that most things that happen to us, bad things, unlucky things, we really have no control over that. I feel like on some level we all have some surface understanding of that old saying, it's not in my control or whatever, but it really takes some bad stuff to start happening for us to actually get it. And it also feels like human nature to just thrash around and fight things and resist and try to push through no matter what when bad things start happening. A bit like swimming against the current of a river. At least that's definitely something I do, but lately I've gotten so tired, and I'm so tired of swimming against the current, and I just don't think that's something I can do anymore. But through giving up, I actually learned something, and that's something I want to share. So on Australian beaches, they have these things called rip currents, which is basically when shallow waves start traveling in a narrow strip away from the beach. And they catch people off guard, and they pull them out to sea away from the beach. And, that can be pretty terrifying. One minute you're enjoying a nice swim, and the next some fast current catches you and is throwing you out into just open waters. And when this happens, a lot of people panic and they start thrashing. They start swimming towards the beach while they're still in the current. But these currents are fast, man. Like swimming against one is just not gonna work. And unfortunately, some people get exhausted doing that, and well, they don't really make it. When you're caught in a rip current, there's absolutely no control. You can't control the current, but that doesn't mean you're not in control of anything. You're in control of how you respond, and you're in control of your actions. There's still a way to get out of the rip current, but you just have to let things happen. You don't fight the current, you let it carry you out. Because these rip currents, they don't pull you under, they don't drag you down, they just push you out, and they won't push you out too far. So you just have to let things happen and not resist. And when the current stops pulling you out, what you can do is swim parallel to the beach instead of straight back to it. Because these rip currents are usually pretty narrow, so if you swim parallel to the beach for a bit, then you can swim back safely and let the waves carry you back. This is all just a big metaphor right now, but it's gonna make sense in a second. You don't have control over the current, but you are in control of how you react and how you respond. You're in control of your actions. It's just like how in life, a lot of bad shit is gonna happen, and a lot of the times, you just have no control over that. It sucks, it's not fair, and it's discouraging as hell when things don't go how you want them to or how you plan them, but there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. Bad things are just gonna happen, and they're going to affect you, and they're going to make you feel awful. You can't control if your car breaks down on your way to work. You can't control if someone, likes you back or not. You can't control a lot of stuff. But if you focus your energy on the stuff you can't control, you're gonna get exhausted and you're gonna burn out. You're gonna get really, really tired. I think for me, a lot of the reason why I resisted so much and why I was so bent on having control over every little thing in my life was because I was afraid of what would happen if I didn't have control. I was caught in a chain of what if this and what if that, and imagining the worst possible case, and I convinced myself that if I can't micromanage every little thing that happens to me, my life is gonna spiral into something just terrible and unsalvageable. So I stressed about everything, and I tried to control everything. I tried to control things that were just, in retrospect, not controllable at all. And as a result, I worried about everything, even things that haven't happened yet. I worried a lot about making people happy, to the point where if they weren't happy, I felt like I was just doing something wrong, and I basically tried to force people to be happy But in retrospect, you can't control if people are happy or not, just like you can't control whether weather disasters happen or if you win the lottery. But all of that worrying just ate me up inside and caused a lot of damage too. And I became a worse person for it. I wasted so much time trying to stay in control of things that are impossible to control. But there's something strangely comforting about knowing you have no say in those kinds of things. There's something liberating about realizing, hey, you know, I can't control it and it's gonna go how it goes, and that's okay. There's nothing inherently scary about being in or out of control. What's scary is things harming us or not going how we want them. You know, we don't panic and go into full-blown crisis mode when the ice cream machine is broken at McDonald's. That's out of our control. But you know what is in your control? Making the decision to go to 7-Eleven to get a Ben & Jerry's instead. I'm not saying give up and never try hard at anything. That's the last message I would ever want to put out there. I actually think you got to try really hard a lot of the time to get what's yours, because sometimes even when things seem hopeless, you just need to keep putting in the effort and trying, because your effort is one of the only things you actually can control. It's really all about the context of the situation. It's definitely not easy changing your mindset, especially if it's a mindset you've had for years and years, because a lot of this mindset happens ironically because of things outside of your control, just experiences you go through and things that happen to you that shape you. But I really, really highly encourage anyone who is feeling this to reflect on it, think about it. I don't know, go for a walk and listen to some cool music and think about how much worrying you do because of feeling like you have to be in control of stuff. And consider that maybe all that stress and all that baggage is just not worth it. And ultimately, it's just draining and a waste of time. Think about how nice it is to relax in a lazy river and taking the bends as they come with some iced tea in your hand, rather than thrashing around against a strong current that's just gonna win no matter what you do. So I'm sure a lot of stuff has been going on for a lot of people. You know, maybe the last year is catching up with a lot of people. A lot of bad stuff has been happening to me lately, stuff in my personal life that I don't want to go too deeply into, but just the kind of stuff that makes you want to go back to sleep when you wake up. Real wake up at 1 p.m. and stay in bed for hours type beat. And for the longest time, I put so much time and energy swimming against the current, and ultimately that got me nowhere. It just made me exhausted, burnt out, anxious, and tired. I think the only thing that has helped me in any way is just accepting things for how they are and shifting my focus to what's in my power, like shifting my focus to what's in my control, how I respond, how I react, how I swim parallel to the beach instead of going against the current. That's in my control. You know, things like working on yourself or making good habits or, I don't know, eating healthy, stuff like that. How you let things happen for what they are, how you react, what you do in response to shitty situations, that's in your control. And that's something to take comfort in, because at the end of the day, all you can really control is the effort you put into something and your attitude towards something. I know it's hard and I know it sucks to think about that, but sadly, this is just one of those hard truths. I really do think things are a lot easier once you just go with the currents. But hey, we're humans, we're resilient, we're stubborn as hell. You got this, dude. Whatever it is you're going through, I really do believe in you. Trust yourself, you'll get through it. Stop fighting the current, let it happen, and focus on what's in your power, focus on what's in your control. You'll get through this. I know you will, dude. Think of how much you've already been through and conquered, you freaking champion. I know this was a little late, but I want to wish you the best new year, and I hope it's healthy, and I hope you have a great one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.